This is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? Today, in this ASMR football video, we're going to be looking at all of the recent scores, particularly from the top leagues in Europe, but I'll do as many of the other leagues as I can. And I want to say a big thank you to those who left comments over the last few videos, just giving me a little bit of a heads up that the quality of the picture has not been as good recently as it used to be. The reason being that I changed to this new iPad, got a bit overexcited about that, but then also changed my camera, my phone camera as well. And the combination of the two didn't go that well. It was a bit too bright, you couldn't read the text clearly, so I'm now sat in a pitch black room with just my iPad and my microphone on, and I think the text is a lot clearer. So these are the sacrifices I make for you. I'm just sat in a room in the complete dark, talking about football, so yes. But anyway, so let's get started then, shall we? Do comment and let me know if the audio quality from this newish mic is up to scratch and whether the picture is of suitable quality. Okay, thank you so much. Premier League, let's start here. So Liverpool are still top. They've got 50 points. They're 6 points ahead now with a game in hand over Arsenal, who slipped up. We'll look at the results briefly. Then in a moment, and then Nottingham Forest are still right up there. They're in third. Chelsea are in fourth. Man City in fifth. Newcastle sixth. Bournemouth in seventh, having an absolutely cracking season. Aston Villa in 8th, Brighton in 9th, Fulham in 10th, and then bottom half you got Brentford, Crystal Palace, yes, Manchester United on this terrible run. Up against Fulham next. I think Fulham have licking their lips at the minute. West Ham with a new manager. Then we got Spurs, who really awful run. What have they got next? Leicester, that is. That's quite, if they don't win against Leicester, I think Postecoglou's going to be really, really in trouble. Everton then in 16th with their new manager, win against Spurs in this first match for Moyes. Then Wolves, then you've got Ipswich, Leicester City and Southampton, both of whom are having a really rubbish run of form. Southampton, however, we'll talk about the Man United match in a moment. Very unfortunate, particularly in that match. Let's look at the last couple of results, because I haven't spoken to you in a while. Okay, so I can see that I definitely didn't do these mid-week results. So Monday, Nottingham Forest hammered Wolves. Then we had 2-0 Man City, and then all of a sudden Brentford came back into it. Kind of sums up their season, really. That would have been unthinkable last year. Chelsea 2-0 with Bournemouth, who, as I said, are having a wonderful time of things, particularly Clouvert. Palmer scored again, and James, returning from really terrible injuries, saved it at the death. But this is just a bit of a snapshot about how Bournemouth are doing in general at the moment, that they nearly won at Stamford Bridge. And then a little bit of a surprise, 3-2 win for West Ham over Fulham. I think Fulham, in terms of like how they're doing this season and in current form, were the favourites for that match. It will be scored 2, but then on the other end of it, Soler, Soucek and Paqueta with the goals for West Ham. I want to hear from the West Ham fans. How excited are you to have got Graham Potter? Do you think it's going to work out? I mean, I do rate him. I think he had a terrible time at Chelsea, but the Chelsea job is a very difficult job. I think, if anything, the new manager is overperforming because they've got a fantastic squad, but trying to embed all those players, it's very difficult. And then at one point Nottingham Forest were winning this game, another goal from Chris Wood, but Jota equalised, so fantastic game, really enjoyed it. Nottingham Forest, I have to say, I wouldn't go so far as to say title contenders, although I'm not saying that they're not, but they're definitely contending for Champions League football next year, no two ways about it. And as you know, I'm a big fan of clubs that sort of break the status quo, ones like Bologna, Girona, etc, etc, so I quite like it when a different club gets in the Champions League spots. And then I think this was the last game of Dyche's reign, Aston Villa winning at Everton by Ollie Watkins 1-0. Crystal Palace beating Leicester 2-0. Then we had very impressive Newcastle beating Wolves, 2 more goals from Premier League's best striker this season, Isak, and another one from Gordon as well, who's having a fantastic season. I was watching the North London derby, 2-1 to Arsenal, Son with a goal, but then 2 in response from Arsenal, 1 from Solanke, which was an own goal, and then Trossard, who broke, I don't think he scored in like quite a while, so that was a really important goal for him. Obviously they're back in the hunt for the title, but it just, really, Tottenham just can't find a win from anywhere. Very entertaining game, incidentally, for a neutral. Brighton 2, Ipswich 0. So Brighton doing very, very well. Now, I watched this match and I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was completely end to end. And Southampton, I have to say, were the better team. So Ugarte on goal, but I think in the first half alone, Southampton could be 3 or 4-0 up. I thought that left winger absolutely ripped them to pieces. Where was he? Solimana. What? They gave him a 6.8. And Scott Euro could not cope with him. He ripped him to pieces. I don't understand why he only got 6.8. This isn't an official rating. These are rated by the people who watch the game, apparently. The only reason I could think that they didn't give him much higher was possibly because he literally should have scored 4 and he didn't score any or set up any. So it was 3-1. Man United got 3 goals from absolutely nowhere. The usual from Ahmad, a hat-trick from him, just saved them. Really belied a terrible performance at home against, one of the worst teams in Premier League history, according to the table. But not on the day. They did actually play very, very well, Southampton. Then, Bournemouth's season went from pretty good, drawing at Chelsea should have won, to even better, 4-1 winners in Newcastle, which is a bit of a fortress this year. Another player having a fantastic time, Kluivert with a hat-trick. And then Kerke is the most sought-after left-back in the country, getting a goal as well. Liverpool continued their rich vein of form, beating Brentford, who are not easy to beat, with 2 late goals from another player who's not scored in a while, Nunez. I can't press out, it's not letting me out. Go backwards, there we are. And Fulham beating Leicester 2-0, Smith, Rowe and Traore with the goals. Crystal Palace beating West Ham 2-0, 2 goals from Mateta. And then I was on a night out, I was going for some food, and I went to the pub and I watched the end of the game, and there was a goal that was ruled offside, and it looked like an amazing game. I'm gutted I missed it, but it did put a massive dent in Arsenal's title challenge, and I think it really highlights the fact that they've just got to go out and get a striker, haven't they? And if they don't get one, there's zero. You may as well just give the title to Liverpool now, to be honest with you. Okay, then Everton beat Tottenham in that first game of David Moyes' return at home. The stadium was bouncing, and Tottenham without Brendan Johnson, who had an injury, without Solanke, who's got an injury. Richarlison came off the bench and scored against his old club, but it wasn't enough. 3-2, and frankly I thought Everton ripped them to pieces. It wasn't the usual end-to-end Tottenham, and this game was 3-0 up. And then Spurs scored 2 late goals. Remember, Everton are nowhere near them they are actually getting near them in the league now. I'm really worried about Spurs at the moment. I think I'd rather them keep Postecoglou and just sort of wait, get some more players in, get people back from injury. He is trying to do this with a back four that is just, all over the place, but they need their big players back, and they need better players on the bench. But it has meant that a couple of players have really impressed. I think the young Swede Bergvall has really, really impressed me over the last couple of games. I think he's been fantastic. Kulusevski, Porro as usual. Jed Spence has come into the team and looked brilliant. But I think Son is just... with his age, it's easy to say, oh, maybe he's over the hill now, whatever. But I don't think it's that. I think he's carrying the weight of the team's burdens on his shoulders. I think, they need to get some really big players in to keep him happy, really, because he looks miserable at the minute. Then Nottingham beat Southampton 3-2. And then Ipswich lost at home 6-0 to Manchester City, who've got their biggest win in some time. Chelsea then beating Wolves 3-1, and then we've got those games to go. So that's you're all caught up on the Premier League. Championship, I kind of don't want to look at the results, because Swansea have had an absolutely appalling week. So we'll skip over these. No, I'm joking. Okay, so top is Sheffield United. You're welcome. Swansea give you that nice win. Leeds in second, Sunderland in third, Burnley, Middlesbrough and Blackburn. And then my Swansea City languishing round in 15th all of a sudden after 4 terrible results in a row, really. Cardiff at 19th. They got their first win in forever. You're welcome. And Swansea just, if you need a win, just Plymouth, hang on a minute, play Swansea, we love you. We love everyone. We want people who have not scored in 6 months to have a goal, people who haven't got a result in ages to have a fantastic result. We're just so generous as a team, So let's have a look at those results. On Friday night, Burnley and Sunderland on the top of the table, 0-0, cancel each other out. Something happened in South Wales on Saturday morning. I can't quite remember it though, so we'll move on. What I know, well done to Cardiff. It was a complete embarrassment from Swansea. We were just awful, and I don't really know what to say. We didn't even lay a punch on Cardiff. It was completely dominant from a team that haven't won in forever. Quite shocking, embarrassing, and then they were like fighting at the end. Oh god, it was just awful. But yeah, well done to Cardiff. I'm glad. I don't want Cardiff to be relegated. It'd be so bad for Welsh football if they were. So, as I said before, take the 3 points and try and get some more. You're welcome. Millwall lost to Hull 1-0. Plymouth lost at home to QPR 1-0. Coventry beat Bristol 1-0. Watford beat Derby 2-0. Luton and Preston 0-0. Oxford won against Blackburn. That's fantastic. Well done to them. What was I say? Brannigan with the goal. Sheffield United beating Norwich. Not an easy feat. they've just decided to dip into the transfer league and transfer market and buy a couple of extra strikers. They've got Brereton Diaz back on loan, very popular with the fans, I understand, from his stint last year in the Premier League. And they've also, who else have they've bought someone. Brewster scored against Swansea. Kiefer Moore is injured. Darius Campbell Diaz. I'm sure they've bought someone else. I feel like they've got even more players coming in. And what else? This back button doesn't want to work today, does it? There we are. West Brom and Stoke 1-1. Then Leeds went top of the league with a 3-0 win. And yeah, I can just go back if you want to. But why has it been weird today now? Can I do it some other way? No, it doesn't. It takes me right out. It's the only disadvantage about sitting in complete darkness to do your videos. You can't see anything. Where were we? Then Blackburn lost again to Coventry 2-0. Sunderland won away 1-0. Hull lost to QPR 2-1. Middlesbrough beat West Brom 2-0. Another goal from Doak. Another one from Oxford, beating Luton this time 3-2. Swansea had an appalling game. We were winning, looked amazing the first half. Bianchini scored his first goal since like October, I think it was. Then we immediately give Ryan Brewster a goal. Remember, he used to play for us on loan. Couldn't hit a barn door, and he has not scored in months for Sheffield United either. He scored against us. Then we had a red card. It wasn't even a yellow card. I'm sorry, I don't understand why it was a red card to Harry Darling. If you look for it online, you'll be so shocked. Of course, there's no VAR in the Championship, and then it was a penalty. We gave away a penalty. There's no excuses about that. So yeah, that was pretty awful. Watford 1, Preston 2, and then Cardiff got a draw after being 2-0 down. The 97th minute winner from the brand new striker they've just got, Salesh. So well done. And then some big games coming up. Leeds, Norwich tonight, as time of recording. And then Swansea away to Norwich on the weekend. Cardiff are home to Derby. Leeds, Burnley on Monday with a big game. Okay, just dip in on League One. Birmingham City are top, Wickham second, Wrexham now third. And in League Two, Walsall top, Crewe, Port Vale, then Wimbledon, Notts County, Doncaster and Salford. Okay, Women's Super League. Chelsea are top, Arsenal are second, and then you've got Manchester United, Man City. They did play each other recently. What was the score? Oh, interesting, because Man City were talking up and saying they need to win every game between now and the end of the season. So Midema did score, ex-Arsenal player, the Dutch forward, but they lost 4-2 at home in the Manchester derby. Arsenal beating Crystal Palace 5-0 and Chelsea beating West Ham 5-0. I hope the league isn't getting to that point where it's a little bit, top heavy with the big teams, because it's only a 12-team league, and I imagine that the resources of Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Man City, possibly Liverpool, but they're not doing very well, are so much better in this league than the others. I hope it doesn't get, too unbalanced. Okay. I'm going to start watching a lot more Women's Super League matches, because I only tend to watch the national games with the women, so I want to get into the Premier League a little bit more. Bundesliga time. Bayern are top, Still, Bayer Leverkusen second, Frankfurt are in third, Stuttgart fourth, Leipzig now in fifth, and Dortmund just having a terrible time, still can't win. 3 losses in a row, away form is dreadful, 10th. And then down the bottom, Heidenheim, Bochum and Holstein Kiel. Fixture-wise, we saw some matches last weekend. Frankfurt beating Dortmund on the Friday night match 2-0. Then Bayern beating Wolfsburg 3-2. Goals from Goretzka, interesting, 2 from him, to cancel out the 2, is it Amura is the name? And then the winner from Olise, who's, I think, doing pretty well this year. Bochum and Leipzig 3-3, St. Pauli just beat Heidenheim 2-0 away. Hoffenheim also won away at Holstein Kiel, bottom of the table 3-1. Stuttgart beat Freiburg 4-0. Dennis Undav with 1 goal there. And then Leverkusen beat Mönchengladbach 3-1. Florian Wirtz getting 2 goals and Schick getting the 3rd. And then on Sunday, Union Berlin beat Mainz 2-1 and Werder Bremen lost at home to Augsburg 2-0. Serie A then. Napoli are now top. They have draw specialists Juventus next. Inter are second. I heard someone say yesterday, if you finish above Inter in the league this year, you will win the league. I think that's what Napoli have to do. I think Atalanta feel that they're still in it, but I think Lazio have dropped away now. Still plenty of time to catch up though. So Napoli, Inter, Atalanta top. Lazio in 4th, Juve in 5th, 13 draws in 21 matches. Fiorentina having a fantastic season, 6th, and then Bologna climbed back up the table to 7th, Milan in 8th, and Roma having a much better time. Look, no loss in 5 games. A tricky away match to Udinese, who are just below us in the table next. Then comes Torino, Genoa, Como, who are doing brilliantly this year, after being promoted, Cagliari, Empoli, Parma, Lecce, Hellas Verona, Venezia and Monza down the bottom. Okay, results. Friday night we saw Roma beating Genoa 3-1. Thank God, a goal from Dovbek. He's broken his little duck of not scoring for a while. El Shah, who I think we're starting to have contract talks with. He's playing really well, particularly coming off the bench. And then Leali with an own goal, but it was basically Dybala, who is playing brilliantly at the moment. Absolutely fantastic football. And Genoa are not easy to beat, so I'm very pleased with that result. Then Bologna beat Monza 3-1. Juve actually won a match, but Milan, with their new manager, losing here. Mbangula and Weah with the goals. I'm having terrible trouble with this back button today. And then Atalanta, as I say, sort of dropped a little bit away, and this is the reason why Napoli beat them in Bergamo 3-2. Retegui scored again, Lookman, brilliant. But cancelled out by Politano. McTominay's with a sensational season, and Lukaku. Who else? Fiorentina Torino 1-1. Cagliari beating Lecce 4-1. Parma Venezia 1-1. Lazio beating Verona 3-0, and Inter beating Empoli 3-1. Goals from Lautaro Martinez, Dumfries and Thuram. Esposito with a goal on the other side for Empoli. Como beating Udinese 4-1. Okay, let's go to La Liga. Okay, I'm watching a bit more Spanish football now. I've got Premier Sports subscription because I miss watching Spanish football. So who have I seen this week? I've seen Athletic Club and I've seen Valencia. So I've seen 2 matches. And yeah, so Real Madrid are top. Although Ancelotti's under great pressure because they lost the Super Cup final to Barcelona, who they've lost every single game to this season, I think, off the top of my head. So although they're top and they're not doing that badly, they haven't lost in the last 5 matches, which included a last-minute winner against Valencia. They are, Ancelotti's been, told that he might get the sack, and the fans aren't happy, and that's how tough things are at Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid dropping to 2nd after a surprise loss. We'll have a look at that in a second. Barcelona in 3rd and Athletic Club in 4th. Villarreal now in 5th. Mallorca in 6th. And then we got Sociedad in 7th. Girona climbing back up to 8th. And Sevilla in 11th. They're still very unpredictable. Loss-win, loss-draw win. I watched a little bit of their loss to Real Madrid, and they look good in patches, to be honest, but they just need a bit more defensive cohesion from front to back. Real Betis, their big city rivals, in 12th. Celta Vigo in 13th, who looked really good when I watched them the other day, even though they lost. And then Espanyol, Valencia have won, so they move out of the bottom spot and up to 19th, swapping with Real Valladolid. And Valencia, of course, have got Carlos Corberan, the West Brom manager, who seems to have a plan. They look a lot better. Okay, so Friday we saw Espanyol beating Real Valladolid 2-1. Girona lost at home to Sevilla 2-1. Goals from Niguez and Luque Bacchio. Then I did watch a little bit of that match actually as well. Leganés beating, that's the shock result, Atletico Madrid, who were top by a single goal. Then Betis lost at home to Deportivo Alavés 3-1. Barcelona also under a lot of pressure. The form is not good. They drew with Getafe in the capital. Getafe is sort of just outside Madrid. Celta Vigo lost to Athletic Club 2-1, played pretty decently. Of course, their best player is out, injured at the minute. And of course, I've forgotten his name, the ex-Liverpool player, what's he called? Iago Aspas. He's injured at the minute. And yes, Athletic Club beating them 2-1. Real Madrid beat Las Palmas 4-1. 2 goals from Mbappe, 1 from Diaz and 1 from Rodrigo. And then Valencia, big win against Real Sociedad. Hang on right at the end there, but yes, Hugo Duro with the only goal of the match. Looked so much better in defence. But the advantage is this new managers come to the club at a time when their key players are coming back from injury. So they got Mamardashvili back in goal. They got their captain back at left back. Yeah, so they're looking a lot better. I feel a bit sorry for Ruben Baraja. And then Villarreal beating Mallorca 4-0. Okay, so let's go to Poland briefly. Lech Poznan, our top, Rachov Czestochowa and Jagiellonia Białystok, 3rd. Ligue 1. So Paris Saint-Germain are unsurprisingly still top. Marseille 2nd, Lille 3rd. Monaco in 4th. Nice and Lyon make up the top 6. Lens in 7th. Brest in 9th. Then you've got Rennes in 14th. Saint-Étienne in 16th. Le Havre in 17th. And Montpellier in 18th. Recent results: Montpellier beat Monaco 2-1. And Lille beat Nice 2-1 as well. Haraldson and Diakite with the goals for Lille. Then Lens lost home to Paris Saint-Germain. Who were the goal scorers? Ruiz and Barcola. Rennes lost home to Brest 2-1. Lyon and Toulouse drew. Saint-Étienne drew with Nantes. Angers beat Auxerre 2-0, Reims drew with Le Havre 1-1, Marseille drew with Strasbourg 1-1 as well. Greenwood with a penalty, and what was that person's name? Emer, I think is his name, with the equalising goal. On to the Netherlands then. Eredivisie. PSV Eindhoven are still top, but they've lost a couple of matches. Ajax are catching up in second spot. A little bit of poor form from Utrecht means they drop from second to third. They're still 4 points ahead of fourth place Feyenoord. Alkmaar are in sixth. Breda are in ninth. Then you got Heerenveen in 10th, Nijmegen in 11th. And then down the bottom, 15th Groningen, 16th Rotterdam, 17th Almere, and Waalwijk in 18th. Key results then from the last match day. We see PSV losing to Zwolle. Wow, really? 3-1. Was that Kastev or Kaslev? And Vente. Incredible result for them. Utrecht could only draw with Alkmaar 0-0. Feyenoord only able to draw with Willem II 1-1 away from home. Another goal from Paixão. Go Ahead Eagles beating Groningen 2-1. Breda beating Twente 2-1. Almere losing home to Heracles 2-0. Ajax winning away at Heerenveen 2-0. Schutalo and Akpon with the goals. Nijmegen beating Fortuna Sittard 4-1 and Sparta Rotterdam drawing the Waalwijk 1-0. On to Turkey then. Gala are still top and by 6 points now over Fenerbahce, Samsunspor and Göztepe are making up the European spots. But Beşiktaş in 6th have just got a new manager in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I just watched them play in the Conference League, I think it is today, because they can't play on the Thursday because all the Istanbul teams would be at home at the same time. So they stage Galatasaray tends to play on a Tuesday, Beşiktaş on a Wednesday, and then Fenerbahce will play tomorrow on the Thursday. So they looked really impressive and they beat Athletic Bilbao, who were second in the table looking to go top. So yeah, he's got them playing in a really nice, attractive way already. So Gala are top, but Beşiktaş with that new manager down in 6th. Let's have a look at some key results from this league then. Friday, Galatasaray could only draw with Hatayspor away. They of course lost their European match, but we'll cover that next week in the European video. Osimhen with a penalty. Başakşehir beating Rizespor 2-0. Beşiktaş drawing with Samsunspor 0-0. Göztepe beating Antalyaspor 1-0. Fenerbahce winning 4-0 against Demirspor away from home. 2 goals for Moroccan Enesri, Dzeko and Tosun with the goals. Trab beating Sivasspor 4-0 as well. On to Scotland then. Celtic miles ahead, 13 points ahead. Rangers in second, Dundee now in third, Aberdeen falling like a rock in fourth, haven't won in quite some time. It was a weird record. They had never won so many consecutive games, and then now they've lost more consecutive games in their history than ever before, so they're having the weirdest season. Definitely no title charge on the way from them, unfortunately. Let's have a look at the fixtures. So they lost 3-0 to Rangers on the weekend, with a goal there from Balogun as well. But Dundee FC managed to get a very credible draw with Celtic home 3-3. I think Brendan Rodgers was quite unhappy about that result. And yes, Aberdeen and Hearts 0-0 as well the previous match day. Okay, we'll look at Belgium and Portugal and then I'll call it quits. So, Belgium, Genk are top. 1 point over Club Bruges. Union Saint-Gilloise in third, Anderlecht in fourth, Antwerp in fifth, and making up the top group, Gent in sixth place. And down the bottom you've got Westerlo, Sint-Truiden, Kortrijk and Beerschot. Recent results then. Friday, Gent drew with Sporting Charleroi 1-1. On the Saturday, Genk beat Mechelen 2-1. I think I might be like a vampire. Maybe I don't have any. Why is it like so weird? Maybe it's like, maybe I need to clean it. Maybe it's dirt. Hang on. Okay, my sleeve. Oh, now you work. Let's go out and come back in. Fixtures. Where are we? I'm very distracted by this. Club Bruges beating Beerschot 4-2. Goals there from Nielsen and Van Aken. Anderlecht winning 2-0 on the Sunday against Kortrijk with goals from Hazard and Huerta. And Royal Antwerp beating Westerlo 3-2. And then Portugal, well, there's a little bit of chaos in the top three. They're all having a weird season. Talking to my Portuguese friend today about it. He's a big Benfica fan. Sporting are doing probably the best, but Porto have just sacked their manager. Benfica have just sacked their second manager. Oh no, Sporting, sorry, have sacked their manager after Amorim, so they're all sacking managers at the minute. Sporting, not Benfica, have sacked their manager. Yeah, Benfica just having a bit of a weird season anyway. So, currently, Sporting top, 3 points ahead of Benfica, and then they are 4 points ahead of Porto. Braga are in fourth place. Santa Clara and Casa Pia in sixth. Guimarães in seventh. Down the bottom, Farense, AVS Football, and Boa Vista bottom. Wow. Big club. Lost to Casa Pia at home 3-2. Porto lost to Gil Vicente 3-1 with 2 red cards. Wow. Braga beat Estrela da Amadora 1-0. Sporting beat Rio Ave 3-0. Another goal from Gyökeres. I can't believe someone's not tried to buy him yet, but maybe he'll go in the summer. And Benfica beat Famalicão 4-0. 3 goals from Barreiro and 1 from Kökçü. And then that is where I'll stop, I believe. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and you're not too disappointed that I didn't cover your league, but I do like to spend a little bit of time talking about the leagues that I watch the most often, and I think that you would prefer that as well, rather than me just go through all the scores. Okay, thanks, and don't forget to leave a comment on the audio and visual quality of this video. I want to try and get back to where we were before, even if it means switching back to my old camera and maybe even going back to doing the results on my phone or something. At least it was clear. So let me know. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe and join me on Patreon, and I'll see you again very, very soon. With probably the next video is going to be a results video from the European matches, match day 7 in the Champions League and Europa League. Okay, see you soon.